Hey y'all, welcome back. Today we're checking out 5 things Americans need to learn from the UK. Tell me, Kaylin, what's up?
While I've lived in the UK for the past 13 years, recently I went back to the US and boy, the reverse culture shock is real. In this video, we're going...
I thought she said she moved back. She said she went back. Sorry. Continue.
I went back to the US and boy, the reverse culture shock is real. In this video, we're going over 5 things America could learn from the UK that are really jarring to me when I'm back home visiting. Number 1. Walking places. I've mentioned this in my UK versus USA health video, but when I'm in America, I miss being able to easily walk places. For example, while staying at my friend's house, there was a place I needed to go to run an errand. And being the British person that I now am, I didn't want to bother her to ask her to drive me, so I looked it up and it was only a 25-minute walk away. But when I looked up this 25-minute walk, it was across major traffic, basically along a highway, and also you can tell from the street view that it's completely void of people walking. It's like the Truman Show, where we have the sidewalks, but it's not really real and nobody actually uses them. There are some great walking cities in the USA, but we need to transform the rest of it to be more walkable. Not just for calories in and calories out, but because it actually opens up a lot more opportunity for people to get places. Maybe your car is broken down. Maybe you can't afford one. Maybe you broke both of your arms and would find it hard to drive, but you can walk. I don't know the exact scenario, but it just would be great if we could walk more places in America.
Agreed.
Number 2.
I agree. I love walking. I hike every day, at least a couple miles. I'm going to the grocery store later today and I'm walking. Maybe I'll take the subway because it's cold. But yeah, we need to walk more. I will say that we do have some walkable cities like she's saying, but in the rural areas, to put sidewalks everywhere we would need sidewalks would be a waste of money. That said, we need more pedestrian-only areas. We need more bicycle areas. Bicycles, y'all. Why don't we use more bicycles, right? Bicycles. I don't even own a bike, but I'm championing bicycles. I just think it's a great invention. Why don't we use it? Right?
Number 2. Quicker airport procedures. Every time I fly into and through America, I'm always reminded how much of a mess the actual airport experience can be. I truly don't know what it is. It's the security and the check-in lines, and in America, it seems like regardless of the airline or airport, they're almost always crazier than the ones in the UK that I use regularly. Traveling through London Heathrow would seem like it should be a total nightmare. It's a hub for a lot of airlines and basically the gateway to Europe, but guess what? It's typically fast and efficient compared to American airports. There are signs everywhere telling you how far the walk is to your gate. Security never takes me that long, and I'm not saying it's a pleasant experience. Traveling never really is, but it's tolerable. Not the case at JFK, John F. Kennedy Airport in New York City, for those who don't know. It's total chaos. There are luggage and humans and confusing lines everywhere. This could also be because Americans are bad at queuing. This just occurred to me, but whatever the reason, get it together, American airports. All of these airlines are like, man, you gotta get to your international flight like 3 hours before it departs. That's for you people flying out of LAX. UK airports typically have it sorted. Now, speaking of airports, I had to travel through 4 of them on my last trip with connecting flights, working while I traveled, which meant I was on a lot of different Wi-Fi networks. To make sure that my data stayed protected, I used private internet access.
She snuck an ad in there. I wonder where she was going with this. Speaking of airports, comment. You know, remember the pre-9/11 airport experience? It's kind of nothing. You walk through a metal detector, put your bag through the thing. You're good. Now you gotta take off your shoes, you gotta put your electronics in a bin, your bags in a bin, take off your coat, take off your belt, take off your watch, pull your wallet out of your pocket, put your phone in a thing. It's chaos. And there's always a TSA agent yelling at you, as if you should know this stuff already. But most of us fly once or twice a year. We forget these rules, TSA agent. Don't yell at us like we've personally offended you. I mean, we probably have, but give us a break. Smile. Be friendly. Right? What's the big deal? Don't yell at us. I would appreciate it if you approach me and calmly tell me, hey man, take off your shoes. That's part of the procedure, okay? Take off your shoes and put them in a thing. Instead of, take off your shoes and put them in a bin! Take off your shoes and put them in a bin! Have your ID ready! Have your ID and boarding pass ready! Like, whoa. Chill the f*** out. Whoa. I'm just trying to get to Tampa. Yeah. In America, if you're flying, you better show up at least 2 hours ahead of your flight. Have your boarding pass and ID ready. Take off your shoes. Put your laptops and electronics in its own bag.
So many people don't think of this when they just randomly connect at every coffee shop or airport terminal that offers shared Wi-Fi, but it can be really dangerous with your data if you're not careful. With private internet access, they hide my IP address and encrypt the internet connection, basically putting my personal information behind a kind of shield. Keep in line with the UK is removing.
Y'all, let's counteract this solicitation. Be sure to go to NordVPN and like and subscribe and buy their VPN.
Now, the third thing America should do to keep in line with the UK is removing pharmaceutical advertising. Pharmaceutical advertising is one of those American things that you really do not notice when you
I love that stuff, though.
live in America, but it becomes
That's
wild
hilarious.
to think about the second that you leave. If you don't know, in the US, companies advertise medication through television ads, online ads, whatever. It could be Zoloft for anxiety or something for psoriasis or for your eczema or your heart problems. Pick an ailment and there's a drug for it, and it'll be advertised right smack dab in between singers on American Idol. Now, typically the ads start off innocently enough, typically with someone who is living their best life despite their illness, frolicking in the flowers, having orange juice with their family at breakfast. Somehow they're always eating breakfast in these ads. So then Americans buy in and we're like, well, I don't even have allergies, but I wish I did just so I could try this medication. But then, boom, they have to list the side effects, often including the rare ones. So you're left with ads like this.
For adults with type 2 diabetes and known heart disease, Jardians can lower the risk of cardiovascular death too.
Serious side effects may include ketoacidosis that may be fatal.
Which is really confusing and brings me back to my main point. Doctors should really be the one prescribing medication and telling you the side effects, not an ad. Americans need to do something about this pharmaceutical advertising and be more like the UK, where this is not allowed and people get medical advice from medical professionals rather than paid actors. Imagine that.
Okay, yeah, she's right. It does seem weird and we shouldn't have them. I like them because they're hilarious. I saw one that made up an illness called restless leg syndrome. Is that even a thing? They're selling a pill for it. I guess it's a thing. That said, from an actor's standpoint, I have a friend who was on one of these drug commercials. It was a national commercial. It took her 6 hours to film the commercial, like one day, 6-hour work day. And over a year, she made over 150 grand from this one commercial. That's a payday. So from the actor standpoint, I love it. But from a health standard, like, it's pretty messed up. Anyway, what's the next thing?
And be more like the UK, where this is not allowed and people get medical advice from medical professionals rather than paid actors. Imagine that. The fourth thing on my list is building better walls between bathroom stalls. And I know this is low-hanging fruit because everyone always talks about it, but having just been in bathrooms in the UK airport and then a US airport, I have to say, please, America, build your public bathrooms without massive Grand Canyon-sized gaps in the doors and walls. This is not a group exercise. This is not a partner project. It is already awkward enough using a public bathroom. No one likes this experience. But America heard the term open concept and didn't realize it was supposed to be applied to living rooms and kitchens, not public toilets. It honestly always surprises me so much when I'm home in America because I'm just so used to UK public bathrooms at this point. So I'll walk into an American bathroom and I'm like, where's the rest of the door? Your 5-year-old child should not be able to fit through the gaps in a public bathroom stall. This does not seem like a controversial take to me. Like, the real American dream is being able to use a public bathroom without feeling like you're actually on display to the public.
She's right, yeah. We have big gaps in the bottom of stalls. You know what? Some, not me, but some people like to do inappropriate things in the stalls. And having that gap lets us see when there's two people in the stall. That said, some people have activity between the stalls in that gap, if you know what I'm saying. If you're sitting in a stall and you see feet in the stall next to you and the foot goes over into your stall, hey, that's a little love letter. That's a little invitation. Party in the bathroom. But I don't think Kaylin has ever had to use a trough. Sometimes in a men's bathroom, instead of having urinals, there will be one long trough next to a wall, and all the men pull their wieners out and pee into the trough. Your wiener's just out there in the open. I don't think Kaylin's ever experienced that. It's especially an odd situation when you're, say, like 8 or 9 years old and you're at a football game, you go to the bathroom and there's a trough and you're standing there urinating next to grown man wieners, like right here, like right next to you. Traumatizing. Compared to that, this little gap in the bottom of the stall is nothing. Kaylin, you don't even know. No offense. I'm not saying your complaint is not valid. I'm just saying you've no idea.
And finally, number 5, roundabouts. I have not always been a proponent of roundabouts, but I do see how four-way junctions with traffic lights, which is most common in the US, aren't as good for the flow of traffic. I'm not even suggesting that the US needs to become roundabout central, but I do think we could use more of them. Besides actual traffic flow, the pros of a roundabout is it actually gives you something to do when you're waiting instead of just sitting there and getting bored. I think this is why Brits like them, to be honest, because it's like a challenge every single time. When is it your turn to go? Do you have enough room? At a four-way traffic light, you just sit there and watch everyone else take turns driving while you go nowhere. I just feel like there's a level of anticipation with a roundabout. Just the other day, I was on a really busy one in the UK, and then suddenly we got a clear space where 4 or 5 cars could go through at once, including mine, and I felt like I had won the roundabout lottery. So there you have it. 5 things America could learn from the UK. Will we?
Okay.
Probably not, but we can always
no.
hope. Thanks as always for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you, Kaylin. Y'all be sure to go to Girl Gone London and like and subscribe. We have roundabouts, but we need more. I prefer roundabouts simply because I hate waiting at a traffic light. Even if I'm not in a hurry, waiting at a traffic light is really frustrating. Feels like I'm being held back. Feels like I'm losing the race. With a roundabout, you're still going. Feel like you're going somewhere. I think Americans would be happier people if we had more roundabouts. That's what I think. I also think we would be happier people if we walked more, like she's saying. If we rode bikes more like I was saying. If our bathrooms were more private. If our security lines at the airport were shorter and not so ridiculous and negative. Have your ID and your body pass out. Have your ID and your body pass out. And I think we'd be happier people if we weren't so drugged up with medications that cause suicidal thoughts and diarrhea and constipation at the same time. Know what I mean? We need to learn these things, y'all. We need to learn them. Thank you for this intervention, Kaylin. I appreciate it. We're not gonna do it, though. Well, I'd like to thank my patrons. I'd like to thank my Buy Me a Coffee folks. Thank y'all for watching this with me, and I'll see you next time. Later.